Let me ask you a question. Who is your favorite superhero? Now, most people would probably say Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, the typical heroes, because they think they have some sort of special powers. But what if I told you that you too can save the world just like they do, but you don't need any of those special powers? The objective of a superhero is to save the world after all. Well, what exactly is going on in the world? What needs to be saved from? Climate change. Now, this is a highly debated topic, and most people know it as global warming, but that is a giant no-no. You don't want to use the term global warming because, although true in some circumstances, it's not always true. Let me explain a little bit more about climate change. One of the most problematic things about climate change is the emission of greenhouse gases that we humans emit just going through things of our everyday lives. We have big production and industry, and we have vehicle emissions just getting to and from work, and we have so many different sources of greenhouse gases that are currently uncontrolled. The greenhouse gases currently consist of water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, also known as laughing gas, and a few other gases including CFCs, but the biggest human contribution is of course carbon dioxide. As you can see from the graph on the screen, you can tell where the emissions are mostly coming from. And why is greenhouse gas dangerous? Well, greenhouse gases, they end up trapping heat within our Earth's atmosphere when it's emitted from the sun. If we didn't have them, the Earth would actually be at a temperature so low that life probably wouldn't be able to be sustained on it. So greenhouse gases are important. However, too much of a good thing is really possible in this case. I'd like to take a moment and just show you what the levels of carbon dioxide are in our atmosphere through a graph. And honestly, it's kind of alarming. We haven't seen levels this high ever in all of our history that we have so far. And the effects that it's having on the planet are going to continue to spiral out of control, and they're going to start getting much worse. Now the question becomes, what sort of negative impacts is climate change supposed to have? What is it forecasted to have on our planet? And one of the biggest things is the weather changes. We've already started to see some of these weather changes occurring. If we all do recall, back in 2005, Hurricane Katrina, one of the most destructive and powerful storms on record. And since Katrina, we have continued to see the growth and evolution of hurricanes. They've continued to grow larger, to grow stronger, just like Hurricane Matthew that just recently made landfall, as well as Hurricane Sandy, one of the most awful storms to ever impact the United States. And not only hurricanes, but we have had a greater number and a far more dangerous outbreak of severe weather that is frequently seen across the United States. One of the most destructive and powerful tornadoes on record was actually in Moore, Oklahoma in 2013, an EF5 tornado. Let's just have a little look-see and see what that's like to be right there up close and personal with such a destructive event. Big thanks to Charles Gafford for risking a lot to obtain such incredible and powerful footage such as that. But another extreme event that we are actually seeing is a drought, the opposite of storms kind of, where the natural precipitation period for an area is affected, and from that comes wildfire. In 2015 alone, 10.1 million acres of the United States burned due to wildfires. That is enough area to burn the entire state of Massachusetts twice. But it's not just weather that is suffering impacts of climate change. It is actually some of our animal friends, especially those up north. A big topic is the polar bears when it comes to thinking about climate change, and they are truly being affected. The summer sea ice has been decreasing on a decline because of the warmer temperatures, and they actually use the ice to forage for their prey, which are seals. And it is actually estimated by scientists that we could lose every single wild polar bear on our planet by 2100. That is less than 100 years away, and that's incredibly scary. And of course, another animal that is impacted by this would be the caribou. The females take their young into the plains to forage on caribou moss, and that leads to a healthier female population and more caribou calf births. But with the quicker arrival of spring-like temperatures, the moss actually will bloom into bud a lot quicker, and once it blooms into that, the caribou actually cannot feast on that, so that is leading to a decline in the caribou population as well. And finally comes our oceans. Our oceans are going to have a lot of impact from climate change. One of those impacts is actually going to be sea level rise. If all the ice melted on the planet, sea levels would rise at least over 200 feet, and the world would look a lot different. If all the ice melted, it would look something like this. And that can kind of open your eyes in terms of the risks we are facing, but also ocean acidification is occurring, that as carbon dioxide is absorbed by the seawater, there are chemical reactions occurring that are slowly reducing the pH, the acidity of the ocean, as well as carbonate ion concentrations. A lot of marine organisms use carbonate ions to build their skeletons. It's almost as if saying that climate change and ocean acidification would be weakening the bones of most humans. That would just be a weaker skeletal structure, and you're going to see a lot of decline in ocean life, as well as our coral reefs. They are being bleached due to the lower pH because they are just unable to hold on, and they are actually kind of dying, which means great wonders of the world like the Great Barrier Reef are at risk of a lowering pH ocean. Now, all of this information can definitely be a lot to have to take in, and it can seem scary, but it's not going to be something that only one person or one group of people is going to be able to solve on their own. It's going to take a group jointed effort, and here's how we can do it. Reducing your energy use around the home, energy saving habits like turning off the lights whenever you leave a room or switching to the energy efficient fluorescent bulbs. You can also think about different ways of transportation. Perhaps maybe you don't need to take the car down the street, you could take a bike, or even have a nice walk if the weather's nice. You could always insulate your home if it's not properly insulated. It can reduce your energy costs and reduce the amount of energy you're having to consume in order to heat or cool your home. Of course, make every drop of your water count. Wash clothes in cold water. You can conserve water by fixing drips and leaks in your home, installing some low-flow shower heads, as well as taking just shorter showers overall. You can upgrade your appliances around the home to higher efficiency appliances. You can, of course, recycle. Recycling's massive, where you want to recycle as much as you can and try and reduce, reuse, and recycle. The 3 R's, as we all know. And plants also help reduce the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere as they use it for photosynthesis. Gardening can be very fun, and it can be a great family activity, add beauty in and around your home. However, the biggest thing is to realize climate change is occurring every single day, and that you need to spread the awareness and make sure that we work together, because together we can make the difference. Thanks for watching.